my name is Angela and all the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. Welcome to day 7 of our 12 Cast Ons 2021. Although that sounds a bit weird saying that now that it's 2022, but it's our cast on adventure where I am hoping or trying to cast on 12 projects on 12 consecutive days. And if for any reason you're new to the channel, then there are a couple of videos, one will be linked below, which explains a little bit more about this adventure, and you are most welcome to join in. You don't have to cast on 12 projects. You can cast on 1 project or up to 12 projects between now and the end of January to join in our cast on party. No shenanigans today. I hope. I'm going to get straight to the point. Although there could be shenanigans depending on how my yarn and pattern choice combo goes again today. But I have picked some beautiful yarn from my stash that I have been itching to work with since it was gifted to me. So I have these 3 beautiful skeins of yarn, which came to me via Mairead, the lovely Mairead, who is a wonderful member of our community here, and she was having a little bit of a sort through her stash, and she said she found 3 skeins of this yarn and thought of me because beautiful sort of orangey colour with hints of blue, perfectly me. So thank you so much, Mairead, for this wonderful gift. Now this is an old Rowan yarn. It's called, what is it called? So these labels are quite funny. Some of them have the name covered up, and I think it's called, yeah, it's called Cotton Chenille, and some of the labels say it's 100% cotton and some of them say it's a wool silk blend, so I have no idea what this yarn is really. I'll show you what I mean. So this one has the name of the yarn covered up with the fibre content on there, and then this one has, they're the same colour, they're the same dye lot and everything on the back. This one says Cotton Chenille, 100% cotton, so who knows. But on the back, the stickers have the same colour name, which is brick, the same shade, the same dye lot, so I'm going to go with a wool silk mix because that's just what it feels like. So yeah, I have 3 of this, and the label that has the Cotton Chenille label on it says it's a chunky yarn, but the yardage to me is more like an Aran weight, so it's around about, I think it's 180 metres if the label can be believed, which I'm not sure that it can. So I'm really not quite sure how much yarn I've got here, but I am going on the basis that I think it's more like an Aran weight yarn. But of course I'm not choosing an Aran pattern, I'm choosing a worsted weight pattern. So slightly finer weight, like worsted weight is, than our Aran. But I'm hoping that I'm going to make it work. I had a little search around on Ravelry and I found a pattern which uses less meterage than I think I've got, if the meterage information on the label is correct. I couldn't really find out much information about this yarn online, perhaps because it's an old one, but there was definitely a chenille chunky listed. But yeah, like I say, I'm a little bit confused about the yarn meterage and weight, etc, etc, how this is going to knit up. And of course, because this is 12 cast ons unplanned, I haven't had time to swatch. Ideally I would probably want to do a bit of swatching just to see what it knits up like, but I'm going to dive in and see what happens. I had a little search around on Ravelry and I found a pattern called Drift Lines by Shannon Cook, which is a cowl basically, and it's a very beautiful simple design. Let me see if I can get a good picture to show you on screen. Of course my internet is slowing down because I want to show you. So there it is, that is the plan, and I'm hoping, because it's a cowl, I'm hoping it'll be relatively easily adjustable. I'm assuming, I haven't bought the pattern yet, but I'm assuming we start at the top and then I can sort of, it's got like this fairly chunky border on it, so if it does start at the top then I can adjust the border if I do run out of yarn. But that's the plan. Drift Lines, this beautiful yarn on the needles today. Now, I've got quite a bit of adulting to do today, so we're back into work mode today. I'm trying to squeeze everything in to get myself finished work-wise by about 3:30, 4 o'clock. I usually do, when I'm working obviously, I usually do most of my knitting in the evening, but my yoga class also starts again this evening. So by the time I've done yoga and had some dinner, there's not going to be much time for me this evening. So I want to try and get my work day out of the way as soon as possible. I've got a trip to the post office to make to post off some orders, and I want to start reorganising and taking inventory of the Yarn and Yarns stockroom, which is going to be a week-long job. I'm not going to get it all done today, but I want to spend at least 2, if not more, hours doing that. We'll see how well my back holds up to that as well, because it's going to be a fair bit of lifting and shifting, which is why I've planned pretty much the rest of the week to do that. So I've got that to do, and then my house jobs to do. So yeah, a fair bit of adulting today. And I've also got my video from yesterday to edit and upload still, and we're already on 10:30 in the morning, so I need to get cracking. I'm going to, before I do any of that adulting, I'm just going to wind up one of these skeins of yarn. Sorry, I got very distracted because a noisy seagull was flying overhead. I'm going to wind up one of these skeins of yarn so that I'm ready to cast on as soon as I've got 5 minutes. So when I'm back down on the laptop, I'll print off the pattern and yeah, see if I can get it on the needles, maybe in my lunch break. We'll see. Wish me luck. Yay, success! But look at this giant cake of yarn. Love it. As soon as I start the ball winder, oh, she disappeared now. I was about to sit down to start editing yesterday's video, and the thought occurred to me that depending on how easy or complex the start of the pattern is, I might be able to cast on while I'm listening to myself waffle. So I'm about to print out the pattern, but I thought I'd show you my swanky new office setup. And by office, I mean my dining room table, which is my office. But James bought himself a new computer monitor not so long ago. So he's set me up now so that I have 2 monitors to play with, which I don't know how I'm going to work this. It's all new to me, but it's pretty swanky. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, how much use I get out of it. We tend not to use our dining room table when it's just the 2 of us. We tend to eat our dinners in front of the TV. So, which is pretty lucky because the dining room table is my packing table and my laptop area as well. Hey, yeah, check out my new setup. I think it's going to be really useful when I'm editing and to have a bigger screen, and also when I'm doing shop website stuff and I'm looking for details and information on supplier websites. I should be able to keep sort of 2 screens going, which will be fab. So my idea of casting on is not going to work because the pattern starts with a provisional cast on and my crochet hooks are upstairs and I need to just get cracking with my work day. Otherwise it's never going to get done. So never mind, it was a thought. Sorry for the weird angle. I'm recording on my phone because my SD card's in my laptop. I can start because I have these amazing repair crochet hooks in my notions bag. These were a gift from Kelly, I think. Kelly, did you send these? I think you did. So I'm just looking around now. I just need a scrap piece of yarn, which I'm pretty sure I've got around here. We can get going. Yay! Okay, that was odd, because I did my provisional cast on and then we did a garter tab and then I unzipped my provisional cast on. So I'm not sure what the benefit of that is over the traditional garter tab where you just pick up the 3 stitches in the side. Seemed a bit of an extra faff to me, but hey, what do I know? Do you ever have those days where you feel like you're just chasing your own tail? It's like noon and I haven't edited my video. I haven't done any of my inventory. I have managed to do my Patreon post that was on my to-do list, and I'm now cooking the vegetable chilli that I forgot to cook yesterday. Also going to be prepping for this evening's dinner, which needs to go in the slow cooker. And then maybe I can get my day started. So lunch break is not going to be knitting, it's going to be food prep. Maybe I'll catch up with myself tomorrow. Welcome to my Wednesday. I feel like today's video is going to be a little bit bitty and all over the place, but that was because my yesterday was bitty and all over the place. It was definitely that first day back to work proper feeling. And yeah, I was just chasing my tail all day. I didn't end up finishing work till 5:30. There was a huge queue at the post office when I arrived, so that put me behind. After I finished work, honestly, I had to go and take a quick power nap before my yoga class, because otherwise I'd have been, you know, doing my yoga stretches and meditations and probably falling asleep, to be honest. I'm also behind in responding to comments, so I hope you'll forgive me. What I've done today, I usually go through and check everyone's sort of cast-ons and then reply and add them to my list, but today I've just added them to my list and I haven't had a chance to reply because, yeah, by the time I'd done yoga and had dinner, it was almost 9:30, and then I did a couple of rows of knitting and then it was bedtime because I was that shattered. So yeah, a little bit behind, but it's fine. Today should be, hopefully, a little bit more organised. We shall see. Right, cast-ons. This is what we are here for. So, where did we get to? Jane has cast on a Kate Celine spiral socks, a pair of course. And this is her second cast on, and she's finished her first cast on, which was a scarf, so that's amazing. Well done, Jane. Hazel has started a Chunky Annie, which is a pattern from Woolly Wormhead, and Hazel said she's been feeling a little bit down after her booster and also feeling a little bit meh about her creativity. So I'm so happy that you decided to pick up your needles and join in the cast on fun, Hazel, and I hope that it sparks you to get back to your knitting and your creativity comes back. Angela started a woven project on her mini loom, and she started a project with her granddaughter, which is just so nice to be crafting with the family, isn't it? And she said they started a very pink and glittery square and they're hoping to make 2 to make into a purse, and I think we all need pink and glittery days sometimes, don't we? Kate started a pair of amber wing socks, and in the theme of trying out new things with her cast-ons, Kate said these socks have got a Latvian braid and some Rosamine or Rosamine, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, dragonflies. I have no idea what they are, so I'm intrigued. I'm going to go and check out that pattern at some point later, because I just haven't had the time to do all of the sort of clicking around and checking out these patterns that I have done thus far. Dee has started a Sea Whisper cow and a pair of tinsel mitts. Helen has, from the Mousy Makes podcast, has started a Diddy Molly mole, which is so cute. And I think Helen's made one of those before. I'm sure I've seen a mole on her Instagram feed. Kathy has, she said, finally started her knit triangle scarf. One of our other Kathys started a shift and some socks, and that makes 5 projects for her so far, cast on. The lovely Angie of Fixed Gain podcast here on YouTube and the Fixed Gain Dye Company has started 2 pairs of opal socks, and she purchased the yarn from my company, Yarn and Yarns. So always makes me happy. Well, all the cast-ons make me happy, but I love seeing the yarn that comes from my web shop out in the world and being used. Lynn has started another bunny, she said, in rainbow mohair. She was going to start a duckling but didn't have the right yarn, so I hope you manage to track down the yarn that you need for your duckling, but enjoy your bunny in the meantime, Lynn. Davina has started some scrappy socks for her husband. Pamela has started a Frost at Dawn bandana cowl, and she's using up leftovers from some gift knits, which is just fabulous. Brianna has started a Eye of Storm hat, which is a pattern by Brooklyn Boy Knits. I'll have to go and check that one out. Tracy has started an Esco wrap, and also Tracy, thank you so much. Tracy gifted me a pattern. I think this is the 3rd year in a row that Tracy's gifted me a pattern around this time of year, and this time she gifted me the Fog Lines sweater, and oh yeah, I just can't wait again. It's a bit like the Carlina that you gifted me this time last year. I really want to get started, but it's obviously not going to be for the 12 cast-ons, and I think it will be perfect. That pattern is perfect, I think, for hand spun yarn, which is why I had it on my wish list in the first place. So yeah, thank you for your kind generosity, Tracy, and I will certainly get to that project as soon as I can. Kathy, another Kathy, we've got 3 Kathys, I promise these are all different, it's not just one Kathy casting on all the things, has started some fingerless mitts from a skein of yarn, which she said, and this made me chuckle, she said it jumped into her arms last time she was at her local yarn shop, and instead of it getting lost in her stash, she decided to cast it on straight away, which I love. Susan has started some socks and a Stormy Swells shawl. And Louise said she is definitely part of the not casting on but now casting on club. And the lovely Louise has started support spindling. She got a support spindle for Christmas, so she started a spin project on her new support spindle. You know how much I love my support spindles, so I'm super happy to see support spindling represented in the 12 cast-ons, and Louise has also cast on some socks. So thank you so much to everyone for sharing, and I will get back, I will catch up at some point today with everyone's comments. I also wanted to say thank you so much for all of your comments and reactions to yesterday's video. I was a bit like, should I post this? Should I just cut out the whole frog thing and just pretend I was always going to cast on a frog? But I decided to do it anyway, and it seems that most of you had a good laugh about it, which is what I hoped, because we all need a giggle and a smile. So yeah, thank you to everyone, and I had some really funny comments on there. I had no idea that licking frogs was a hallucinogenic thing, but apparently it is. So I have learned something new. And also I have to say, I have to mention a comment by Lee. Lee said that when, and this made James's day, Lee said that I was talking about obviously licking that frog, and then in another clip in that video James popped up the stairs, so she said she thought, oh my, Ange did kiss that frog and he became a prince, which yeah, now James is lounging on the sofa expecting me to peel grapes for him, so thanks for that. He is lovely, but not royalty. He has to sort out his own grapes around here. Right, my project, I'm afraid I didn't get very far, but it's on the needles. I knit a grand total of 14 rows. But it looks a reasonable amount of knitting, doesn't it? It's the joy of thicker weight yarn. Now, I had a few issues getting going with this pattern. You saw me trying to cast on while I was starting to edit my video, and this pattern, it's quite a densely written pattern, so there's no chart or anything. It's literally written out stitch by stitch. Once you get into the rhythm of it, it's fine, but there are some slip stitches, and instead of the usual, if you've worked with patterns with slip stitches before, often they have the standard abbreviations, you know, like slip 1 yarn forward or slip 1 yarn back. This one has a unique, as far as I know, I haven't come across it before, abbreviation for the slip stitches, and then the explanation of what you do depending on what type of row you want are on another page in the pattern. So that threw me off. I was just like, what is going on? And I got completely lost at the start, and I ended up ripping back to the garter tab and starting again. So although I only knit 14 rows, I pretty much had got to this point and I'd messed up which side was my front and which side was my back. So really I knit 28 rows, but I've only got 14 rows progress. But yeah, it's starting to work up nicely. The slip stitch detail is starting to appear. There's one here, there's a slip stitch up the middle, and one starting to appear over this side. I don't think the slip stitch details are going to show up as well as they might do in a plain coloured yarn. In this yarn, obviously it's a tweedy yarn, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to carrying on with this now. This colour is just beautiful. It's absolutely glorious. And I think now that I've got the hang of it, and maybe it was just me with tired brain, just not concentrating properly, but yeah, I think it's going to be a lovely pattern to work up. And I'm much happier with the fabric because I ripped back. I ended up going up to the 5.5mm needles. Did I say that in a clip? I'm not sure if I said that in a clip. I'll rewind just in case. So I started this on the recommended 5mm needles, and don't forget this yarn on the label is classed as a chunky weight. I'm knitting a worsted weight pattern, and I started with the 5mm needles, and the fabric was quite dense. It was okay, but it wasn't sort of the nicest, and obviously I'm going to be wearing this project as a cowl. It didn't have sort of too much drape and stretch to it, so I decided to go up to a 5.5mm needle, and because I ended up ripping back to the garter tab anyway, I sort of started again from the garter tab with the 5.5, and it's giving me a much nicer fabric. So yeah, a small beginning, but a beginning nonetheless. And for the next few days, I imagine my projects might end up looking something a bit like this because, you know, I'm back to work now, so I will be fitting in knitting as and when I can. So there we go, all wrapped up for day 7 of our cast ons. Made it past the halfway point, finally, after day 6, take 2. And yeah, we're on the slippery downhill slope now, so I'm actually, although it's Wednesday, I'm actually looking forward to the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I've got an idea that I'm going to cast on a couple of bigger projects at the weekend as a sort of final push towards the end. It won't be the end of the cast ons at the weekend, but I'll have a bit more time at the weekend. So there'll be some bigger projects to come and hopefully a little bit more progress. But yeah, for the next few days, it might be a little bit sparser in terms of progress on these projects, but it doesn't matter. The idea is just to get them on the needles. Don't forget to keep letting me know what you are casting on in the comments below, and I shall be back again tomorrow for day 8, I think, of the cast ons shenanigans adventures. I hope you will join me for the video tomorrow, but until we do get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.